It's sort of getting us going here this afternoon, talking about things we're doing, programs. So we have a little interactive session this afternoon with more than a few participants who want to leave time for, for the content. So I'm kind of the lead-in. But I do want to share with you, a few things that are, I think philosophically important around our perspective on business partners and partner programs and the things we're trying to get done.
All right, let me go with the next question here. Put you on the spot here, Doug.
Okay.
So Doug Harrell is with Mainline. Mainline is headquartered here in the U.S. in Tallahassee, Florida, which for our friends in Boston and New York who are enduring the snow is a nice place to be from.
I didn't have any flight delays because of snow. Okay. I don't know what it was.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for bringing that in. So Doug, first of all, I think most of my colleagues are pretty familiar with Mainline. Mainline is a pretty substantial business partner, a long-time IBM business partner across the whole spectrum, hardware, software, and services. And much like we heard from Simon, have made the transformation into a services world. Tell us a little bit about where you see the epicenter of growth. How is Mainline capitalizing on market opportunity today?
Well, as Steve talked about earlier, as we started, and this goes back a couple of years ago, and through conversations we had with a lot of IBMers and what we were doing, we saw the value-based play. We realized that, running the business as a traditional STG reseller, that our customers' buying patterns were changing, that scenarios were changing too, and we wanted to build out a lot more stickiness, a deeper relationship with our customer. We had great relationships with our customers. Sometimes it spanned 10, 15, 20 years, but we wanted to add more value to that. So, we started looking at things like analytics, like big data, expanding our relationship around the storage piece. We've been heavy into Tivoli for a long time, but there was a lot more value we could add into it as well. And, Mark talking about, some of the plays that IBM has, things like Solution Accelerator have been key for us because, it allows us not only to change the behavior. I mean, we all know sales reps are motivated by compensation. So by showing them a roadmap to say, hey, by bundling hardware and software together, by asking a few more questions while you're out there talking to a customer, that you can actually get compensated above and beyond what you would expect.
What Mark and I were talking about wasn't just hype. You actually saw it in practice shaping behavior with your system.
Now, I can't get over the cherries and whipped cream comment. I'm still hung up on that.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything more about that. Thank you very much.
That's going to stick with me. But those types of programs have helped us start crossing that chasm from just a traditional hardware reseller to more of a solutions-based conversation. And it's also allowed us to take those funds and invest in more skills too. Because ultimately, as you talk about a value-based proposition with your customer, it is about a skill-based discussion. It is about having that high-level conversation, solving problems, versus just, talking about the latest refresh. And we're always going to do that. And Steve alluded to that too. We're always going to talk about the new Z announcement. We're always going to talk about the Power 8. But, our customers are also looking at how do you help me solve problems? And when you start getting into that type of conversation, it changes the whole dynamic of what you're doing with your customers.
So I'm going to phrase a question that I hope I can anticipate what the answer is, but I may not, so be straight. And that is, as you have gone through this journey, this transition to solutions and augmenting with services and the like, and you used the phrase just a moment ago about crossing the chasm, did you leave behind a piece of the business, the infrastructure, the traditional business, or did you see this really as entering a new realm of new opportunity that frankly helped sustain the base business that Mainline built its company around and was able to then really compound or grow beyond that?
I think much like IBM, you look at the Z Series platform, it's been a great platform that's driven a ton of profitability for IBM, and we're the same way. So it's not necessarily anything that we've left behind, but we want to take the skills that we build in the mainframe space, for instance, and take the skills that we're building out around our analytics practice and start leveraging those two collectively together to talk to our customers about not only how the new mainframe can help, but let me talk to you about how you can leverage the data that you're running on the mainframe and how we can help you extract and manage and handle that data in whole new ways that they ever thought about. So it is. It's for us. It's a multifaceted. Now we've got some scenarios where we're going to continue to have deep people that understand the mainframe. It's still a viable market. We're always going to have those skill sets of people that understand power and storage and Z. And I'm sure Anthony's in the same same boat with his business because they're very similar to us as well.
He's moved through this transformation.
Well, I mean, I agree with Anthony. I mean, there are some people that you can make that chasm. You can teach them, and they can continue to grow. But one of the stories I've used is, and I was out here at Vegas, and I went to Cirque du Soleil. I'd love to be in Cirque du Soleil. The problem is, I'm not that flexible. I'm not that coordinated. I don't care how much you paid me. I could not be in Cirque du Soleil. And to some degree, you're going to have that same problem with some of your sellers too. They're just not going to make the quantitative leap to get to be a solutions-based seller. So we do the same things. We bring in those skills. We bring in those technical and sales skills so that we can then, team them with our STG resellers, leverage their collective relationships, and bring in the Cirque du Soleil guy to work with.
And I think that's the key word.
Well, and I would agree. It's not easy. And it takes commitment, and it takes the ability to focus on, what are the areas that you're going to be good at. You can't be good at all things. If you're going to have a value-based conversation with any customer, you've got to be able to go deep into that area versus just, trying to cover the gamut, so to speak. But I do believe you've got to have the commitment to it as well. It's very easy to come in and do a TCO on hardware and say, let me show you why you need to roll out this storage device, replace it with the new storage box. But when you're sitting down with a CFO or a CIO or a CTO or a CMO and you're talking about transformative things that you can do in their business, that's a 12, 18-month, 24-month sales cycle many times as well. And it's a very different scenario as a traditional STG reseller to realize that now you've got elongated sales cycles and things like that. So, part of it is making sure you're committed to that process as well. It's a much longer process, but your margins are going to be greater. Your customer retention is going to be greater. Your relationship with your customer is going to benefit tremendously as well.
So plan, commit to the plan. Dagmar.
That it is simple. That it is to sell a solution, it's simple as it is to sell a piece of hardware. And that's what we train our salespeople.
So keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Focus
Yes.
on the areas that you've got strength and market opportunity,
Exactly.
and keep it simple.
Yes.
It's great advice.